Porto and Clark will be on row 1. Johnson in row 2. Escoto and D'Alba row 3. D'Orlando and Denmark row 4. Zendelli and Missig on row number 5. Field setting up coming out of turn number 19 through turn 20. It's time to go racing. 15 laps. Cooler temperatures than yesterday. That's going to change the way these cars react. It'll change the tire deg throughout the entire 15-lap distance. This will be something new. Let's see what happens. D-Force, blue and white, wide and proud up front, and we are green, 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 and a great start for Kiko Porto. Gets a good jump. Watch from behind Kiko, though. Nikita Johnson's going to dive to the inside, thinking about it. Not quite. Does he get the spot away from Matt Clark as well? Does he hold the position? Coming back down the hill into the inside of the corner comes Clark on the inside. Johnson on the outside. Nikita Johnson trying to hold the spot as they come back to driver's left. He indeed grabs second. So the driver who started third, able to get by Clark, who didn't quite get the best jump. Clark goes back into third position as we are now underway. Escoto up into the 4th spot. But Kiko Porto has grabbed that lead. And again, the combination of what Kiko Porto can do and what Miles Rowe will do could change the complexion of the calculations in terms of the championship when we head to Portland for a triple header next weekend. So the opening lap, you can see Rowe already on the defense from Liram Zendelli. It's D'Orlando up there challenging as well. Clark, I believe, able to make the move. Clark goes into second. So Matt Clark, we believe indeed, up into second. Nikita Johnson going to tuck back on the gearbox as they'll work their way down. Look for a move from potentially from Johnson to the inside coming into this turn number 12. Not quite there. Does he lunge down to the apex? Thinks about it. Both drivers going to go deep on the brakes. Johnson's coming through. Clark will have to do the over-under, and indeed, a little bit of that run-up. Watch that wing. Oh, that was close. Opening lap, pretty hectic here so far for the drivers up front, not including Kiko Porto, as he's done a great job to pull out front. It's the fight between these two USF 2000 drivers who are going at it. Nikita Johnson and Matt Clark will be back in their USF 2000 machinery next weekend in Portland. But today it's one step up, running in the big show here on the USF Pro Championships, the USF Pro 2000 category, the top level of our series. Our focus, of course, developing drivers to move into the Indy Next program. And you know that there's a lot of drivers here in this category, including Kiko Porto, who will be moving to Indy Next in 2024. Opening lap of 15 is going to go in the books. We'll give you a full field rundown as they come across the line, while keeping an eye for sure on what's happening up top as well to see whether or not we get a move coming down into turn 1. No, top 5 drivers look pretty static right now. Porto, Johnson, Clark, Escoto, and D'Alba, the top 5. Liram Zendelli runs 6. Miles Rowe back to 7. So not a good start for Miles Rowe, back to P7. And then we'll let things line up here on live timing. It's messed up a little bit here. We'll come back at it in a second. Opening lap in the books. I'm not the only guy in the PA booth here today. Joining me in the booth, a rookie driver here making his debut in the USF Juniors program for DC Autosport. Connor Roberts with me here right now. The Georgian having a good run yesterday. It didn't get to the checkered flag, but you had a fantastic run nonetheless. Let's talk a little bit while these guys settle in. How did you feel your first race went?
Overall, I felt it went really good. I had some expectations coming into the weekend. I think I definitely exceeded those in the race yesterday. It's been really good to just get settled into the car and kind of get settled into the team and the whole atmosphere of the paddock. And so it's been really good, and I had a really fun race yesterday until the last turn. But, it was super fun racing, and, everybody was respectful that I raced against, and so it was really nice to be wheel to wheel and not have to worry about any, not great moves or, somebody just barely sticking it in there.
Yeah, I've been in touch, obviously, with Connor and his dad Keith for a number of months now as they picked up a USF 2000 car. They've been doing a lot of testing there, getting a chance to finally make his debut here in USF Juniors, and we'll talk more about Connor's experience, and we'll get some insight from him on the racing actions happening on track. As you saw there, Matt Clark making a good move to the inside in turn number 12, took that spot back from Nikita Johnson. So Clark back into second, but then Johnson coming right back and getting it again over in turn, I believe, number 19. So look at this battle. Strong battle for second. Big wide run out of that corner there for Clark as he took a lot of speed coming through turn number 20. And for those of you who are tuning in, I saw in the chat yesterday, I went back and had a look a little bit, everybody asking about track limits. And that's one of the things here. Yeah, there are track limits on this particular track here. This isn't a Formula One staff in terms of the amount of people. So, yeah, track limits are tough for us to have in terms of race control. For us, one place for track limits is turn number 19. Coming out of 19 into 20, that's the only place that we are limiting the drivers down. They must stay with their left side tires on the inside of the white line, which is on the other side of the rumble strips on the outside of the corner. Otherwise, track limits really non-existent here at this racetrack. You can use as much as you want. Formula One style design, as we know, has a lot of pavement off the racetrack as opposed to more traditional tracks that we run around here in North America, where if you go on track, you're in gravel or you're on the grass. Formula One, as we know, works more to have a lot of pavement and then having all the cameras and all the stewards and whatever it may be to find drivers, even in the just electronic-wise, that have gone outside track limits. It's very, very difficult, almost virtually impossible for us to try to call track limits on every part of this racetrack for every car that comes around. The staff is just not there, so there's no sense in doing it. So really the track is wide open. Drivers can go where they go, and you'll see here in turn number 12. They'll come down through. Yeah, there's track limits there. No, we're going to let them go all the way on the outside. It just changes really the complexion of the racetrack. It's not like it's any major deal. We'll focus on turn 19. That's where we want them to stay within that track before they come back out over to turn number 20. So those of you I know that have made comments on track limits, only turn number 19. And again, drivers working all of that racetrack as they come again out of this corner and roll into the big corner. That's out of turn number 15 through the 16, 17, 18 combination. And Kiko Porto, Nikita Johnson, and Matt Clark, the three drivers running up front right now. They've got themselves a pretty good little gap, and Nikita Johnson starting to put some pressure on Kiko Porto. Here's a young pilot here right now who is trying to see if he can't grab a race win. And again, what would this do to the championship? Nikita Johnson battling it out here as Kiko Porto trying to get as many points as he possibly can. Johnson with a lot of speed coming up the hill. Porto, Johnson, Clark, 1, 2, 3. Ricardo Escoto runs in the third spot, or fourth rather. Salvador de Alba is in fifth. You can see that battle over top there. They were going side by side. I think maybe de Alba may have got on the inside of Escoto. So that was a pass up into turn number 1. We'll try to pick that up when we can. If we get another camera angle, we'll be able to look further back here as Porto coming through that 6, 7, 8 combination now. Through 7. There's back. No, I think Escoto still has a spot. Yeah, so de Alba not quite able to complete the pass. Connor, how tough is that pass coming up into turn 1? You can be alongside someone with all that room on the outside. They can really carry the speed around the corner. It's almost like you got to beat the guy down to the, when you get back on the track coming into the next corner.
Yeah, and there's some camber on the outside that really can help the outside line when you're trying to pass down, and turn 1 is just so tight, and there's not a huge amount of runoff there that you can use to open the corner up, and so it is really hard to pass into turn 1.
Kiko Porto going on the defensive here a little bit here right now as Nikita Johnson's trying to roll the over-under on him. This is going to bring Matt Clark back into the fight as well as Nikita Johnson, the VRD racing machine. They're making their debut here in the USF Pro 2000 category. Look at this, Clark coming up to try to challenge as well. Nikita Johnson going at it here with Kiko Porto, the two D-Force drivers. Clark trying to get up there, see if he can't make a little bit of a buffer between himself and his teammate Kiko Porto as Nikita Johnson is bad fast here to start the day. And remember this, very different temperatures, 81 degrees trackside, so that the track temperature itself significantly cooler as well. Normally, of course, throughout the day with the sun beating on it, that's when you start getting more and more temperature into the racetrack. Overnight, of course, it's coming down quite a bit, and only 81 degrees here trackside. This is a lot different than all the testing that's been done here. Of course, D-Force Racing so good on the open test. Watch for a run potentially up the hill. Kiko Porto going defensive. Big wide run for Nikita Johnson. He'll try the over-under, and he'll go to the outside, not quite able to make it stick. This is actually going to be potentially an opportunity for Matt Clark to close back up with Johnson all over the leader, Kiko Porto. Good scrap here between these two drivers. Kiko Porto, of course, a former USF 2000 champion. That is where both Nikita Johnson and Matt Clark are plying their trade right now as they are working their way in that USF 2000 category. But both these drivers especially considering what's happening here this weekend, I believe putting their targets solely on the Pro 2000 category for 2024. Both these young drivers, from what we're seeing here, could come out of the gate as absolute championship contenders next season. Behind them, Escoto still able to hold off Salvador de Alba. So one of the best races we've seen so far out of Ricardo Escoto. He actually scored a win earlier this year at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Road Course, but that was in that race where we went from wet to dry to wets, and they had a great setup. Both of the Jay Howard cars, both Ricardo and Risu Sujima, had good race cars in the wet, and that allowed them to kind of come to the forefront. So Ricardo here in the dry having a good run here, challenging. Porto doing everything he can. Look at this, trying around the outside potentially for Nikita. He gets a bit wide. The car loose coming through as he tried an outside run. Here comes Clark back in. What a battle we've got here right now through turn number 15. Connor, what do you think about this scrap here right now? These guys are really going at it. Nikita's trying every bit of the racetrack.
Yeah, he's driving everywhere. I mean, he got on the marbles on the outside, and it really allowed Clark to get back to him. And the power that they have in these cars lets him make some of those attempts on the outside and then power out of it. I really thought that Clark was going to try to go side by side through the through 16, 17, and 18 with him. That
shot gives us a really good view of the lead that this front-running trio has right now. They've been able to pull away from Escoto. Escoto and De Alba 1-2. Behind them, Liram Zendelli's right there. Miles Rowe, Michael D'Orlando, Jace Denmark, Frankie Mossman, then Francesco Pizzi. You got to go 2 seconds back to Jack William Miller on the next group now. But this front-running trio has stretched away. This is the podium we had yesterday, and potentially the podium we'll have here again today. But I tell you this now, as Connor and I both alluded to already, Nikita Johnson appears like he wants to win this big time. Not only is he out here trying to get some experience for 2024, but I think he wants that win. And I think that's one of the things that would characterize Nikita throughout his career, both in USF Juniors last year and this year in USF 2000, is that he's not one of those drivers you have to push to make that move. You know, you go back to the days of a Paul Tracy where you know, Roger Penske would talk about the fact he would rather have a driver you have to pull back a little bit than try to urge forward to make that aggressive move. Miles Rowe's a driver, you know that if it's opening, he's going to go for it. Michael D'Orlando, the same thing. For a driver like Nikita Johnson, very similar. He's not having to be pushed to make a move, but he really has matured greatly over this year. I've been very impressed by the maturity of Nikita. Here's that fight for P4 as Salvador De Alba thinking about the inside. Escoto with a little move across the bow to cover that off a bit. Will race control be watching that for sure. As you can't move in defense of a driver's move. You have to make that first move. Escoto obviously holding up the Lions here right now as De Alba, Zendelli, Rowe, D'Orlando, Denmark all right there. Denmark trying to close up. Zendelli's going to start maybe getting a little bit anxious, a little impatient as he's trying to find a way by, kind of waiting for De Alba to get the job done. We'll see if it happens up into turn number 1. As for De Alba, how good can he get through 19 and 20? The big run out of 20 is what will get the job done. Escoto coming through. A little blotchy there on our coverage here now, at least trackside. I'm not sure if it's happening for you guys at home, but our camera's locking up for me here as they come out of turn number 19, so we'll be calling this thing here a little bit off live timing. Porto, Johnson, Clark, Escoto, De Alba top 5. And again, De Alba not quite able to get the job done here on lap number 6. Still 8 laps remaining. Yeah, rather 9 laps remaining in a 15-lap race for these drivers here. So indeed, we have locked things up on the camera. Porto, Johnson, and Clark all turning their fastest laps last time by. Outside of that top 5, we've got Zendelli, Rowe, D'Orlando, and Denmark. 1.1 seconds back to Francesco Pizzi, who now runs in the 10th spot. Frankie Mossman right with him, a half a second back. Another second and a half. Hoping for our camera to pop back up, but another second and a half back to Jack William Miller. He's got 2 seconds on Jonathan Brown as well. And based on this just a camera shot I'm seeing right now, Nikita Johnson has gone to the lead. He's been able to get by Kiko Porto. So although camera's not working for me, again, I'm not sure if it's working for you guys at home or not. Not for me trackside. So, again, we apologize. We'll see what we can do. Okay, being told you guys have whatever you're watching at home, you're seeing the live coverage. For me, trackside here at the PA booth, it is locked down on here. So I'm not sure what's going on at this point here. So, hey, enjoy the coverage, folks. We're going to jump on YouTube right now, and it'll be significantly behind in terms of the delay, the lag, so we'll do what we can here for you. Let me turn this down here. Adapting a bit to what we've got going on. So again, Nikita Johnson, we're being told up into the lead right now. So Nikita getting that job done and goes to P1 in the VRD racing machine. He was, again, showed very good speed yesterday. And let me pick this up here. We're going to make a quick little move. All right, here we go. we're going to get lined up here, and I've got live coverage. We've got we do what we can here right now. FaceTime feed between my phone and the actual booth at the TV truck right now. So, again, shout out to Perry from the crew from USF Pro TV as I'm essentially watching a FaceTime of the camera shot that they've got in the truck. Just having some issues we've had a little bit throughout the day here, or the weekend rather, with some of the TV coverage here through the PA tower. So again, Nikita Johnson out front into the lead. Now the question now for Nikita, can he pull away? Can Nikita just grab the lead and stretch away here right now? We'll look at lap times. He went purple last time by with a 2:03.132. For Miles Rowe, this is big. Let's just jump in here real quickly right now, because remember, he's not going to be able to clinch it right now. But every race, he's trying to see if he can't have that full race amount ahead. 69 points coming in. Running in the second spot on track will be 274 points for Kiko Porto, so 274. Right now, Miles Rowe back in the seventh spot. That would put him at 332 points. So at this point, you're looking at, a 58-point lead for Miles Rowe going to Portland as they run on the racetrack. Remember, 99 points on offer there with a triple header, so still lots of time to come. And all it takes is a DNF from somebody to blow things wide open. So although Miles Rowe came into this weekend with a chance to potentially clinch the championship, it looks like it could be going deeply into Portland, not just even the opening round of Portland as well. All depends on how things shake down. All depends on how Kiko Porto rolls off the trailer, both he and Rowe. Will they be fast when they get to Portland? All I know is we're going to crown a champion in this category in Portland, not here in Texas. What an incredible run right now for Nikita Johnson as he, again, lap number 7, turned to the purple lap of 2:03. We'll see as he comes out of turn number 20 now. Is he able to put down another fast lap? Half a second was the gap last time by. Let's see as he comes back around here. Put laps 18 in the books. His fast lap on lap number 6. Still about 0.6 of a second. He was only about a tenth quicker than Kiko Porto. But as you kind of march away, there's going to be a time where that draft is not going to come into play. And the draft doesn't even play quite as big of a role in the higher horsepower cars. Connor, let's bring Connor Roberts back in, running for DC Autosport this weekend in USF Juniors. Connor, the feel for the draft, how big was it for the juniors cars?
The draft in the juniors is huge. I mean, really, when you're within a second and a half going onto the back straight, you can close up to almost making a passing opportunity into turn 12. And the draft is huge. You can be half a second or 3/4 of a second a lap faster in those cars than somebody behind you, but as long as they got the draft, turn 1 through the S's, because we don't have a bunch of power, so
yep.
We can still go flat following closely through the S's, and the draft is just huge here in those cars.
And you can see this group here right now coming out of turn number 12 again. Ricardo Escoto still holding off the Lions as Salvador de Alba, Liram Zendelli, Miles Rowe, Michael D'Orlando. All 4 of those drivers, all race winners on the season, as was Ricardo Escoto winning at Indianapolis. And de Alba doing whatever he can to close back up here. Here comes a move to the inside. This is de Alba all the way down to the bottom of the racetrack. He's going to force the issue this time. Escoto came across from drivers right to left a little bit, and Escoto's going to try to pinch him coming into the corner. Escoto getting very aggressive. Look at Zendelli. Here comes an over-under from Zendelli. This is great racing for the drivers just inside the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th positions. And a great scrap there as Zendelli able to get by Escoto as well. Ricardo did not want to give it up. Both these drivers actually had words at Road America as well, and in fact had a kind of a face-to-face run-in in the paddock at Road America. And so no love lost between Escoto and de Alba, the 2 Mexican drivers scrapping it out here. And again, you can see that Escoto kind of came across the bow a little bit coming as they went into turn 12. They tried to force the issue on the exit. De Alba, I'm sure, not happy with that at all. And I knew that de Alba was not going to give it up coming back over into turn number 13. And not surprisingly, Liram Zendelli, with a lot of experience, able to capitalize on that with a solid over-under that he was able to complete when they got back over to 14 and 15. So move Escoto from 4th back into 6th on that battle, but he's not done. He's going to keep trying to fight here to see if he can't find the spot. So Escoto scrapping it out with Zendelli. So that one's not done at all. As 9 laps into the books, we've got 6 more laps remaining. Your top 10 is Nikita Johnson, Kiko Porto, Mac Clark. They've got that big lead now over de Alba, Zendelli, I believe Rowe potentially up into the spot right now. I think that maybe Escoto going deeper down the field. In fact, potentially into pit lanes. Live timing is showing me here. We'll wait till we hit that. Hard for me to make the call. Yeah, I don't see him there. I wonder if they called him for a block. I don't know. We'll have a pickup on that. As you wonder whether or not a blocking call potentially. If he may have come down pit lane. Not sure what happened here with Ricardo Escoto. But regardless, back at it here once again. That has moved Zendelli to 5th, Rowe up to 6th, D'Orlando to 7th, Denmark, Pizzi, and Mossman now into the top 10. So again, a good fight here. Zendelli looks like he's been able to take the spot away. Indeed, Zendelli goes around the outside of De Alba. So moved Zendelli now into the 4th spot. Good racing here is Miles Rowe. He's now up on De Alba. You wonder if De Alba potentially has any kind of issues here right now. Look at Miles Rowe. He's going to try to do the over-under here too. And again, De Alba seemingly on the defensive a little bit here right now in the exclusive Autosport machine as Miles Rowe trying to work his way back forward. And listen, with Kiko Porto running in second, having lost that spot to Nikita Johnson, Miles Rowe just trying to pad on more points. He's got such a point lead. But again, if Porto can roll into Portland and be just as good as he was here at COTA, the pressure is going to be on for him to be able to get what he needs done. Again, out of the turn number 20 corner, big wide run outside over there using all of the pavement on the exit. Here's this big group of drivers coming across the line once again. Top 3 now out by 11 seconds. An 11-second gap between Clark back to Liram Zendelli. 10 laps in the book, but it's Zendelli, De Alba, Rowe, D'Orlando, Denmark, and then Pizzi's in that as well. You got to go 2.7 back. Here comes De Alba back on Zendelli. So definitely no issues in terms of the technical side for De Alba as he's putting the challenge back on him here. He got right close coming down the hill. I don't know if he had a bit of trouble coming through the S's because he's lost a bit of ground to Zendelli. That's for 4th and 5th. Back in the further back, looking for drivers potentially have moved their way up here a little bit. Nicholas Monteiro up a couple of spots, started 19th. He's up into 16th position, but not too many drivers making big moves from further back. Everybody kind of holding station at where they were outside the top 10. We're watching this battle right now, of course, outside the top 3 for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. 5 laps to go. And again, much cooler. Looks like we're picking things back up potentially here. Yeah, we're back at it here. We've got the full stream, so shout out to the tower. We've got the full stream back for us here once again. That is great. So we can shut off FaceTime and get a better look at it here. Back at it once again as the scrap continuing. Now the 2 D-Force drivers have gone at it. Johnson still up top, we believe, though. Again, watching this lead group. This is a fantastic battle. 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. I love it. All on top of each other right now. And all behind Liram Zendelli. Nikita Johnson's been able to pull away. 1.6 was the last time by between the leaders. And you can see up the very top of the hill in turn number 1, Nikita Johnson pulling away for VRD Racing. VRD with a big win with Nico Christodoulou in Toronto. And then we'll see if they get another one here in their debut weekend here in the USF Pro 2000 category. Here's Miles Rowe making a big move to the inside. Can he make it stick? I doubt it. Coming back down the hill. That's exactly what Connor and I talked about. You can make a move like that to the inside, but it's hard to make it stick with the driver on the outside. Can really carry more speed into the corner, use all that runoff pavement, and then beat you down essentially to the right-hander that leads down into turn number 2 and turn number 3. It happened to De Alba when he was trying to get by Escoto. This time he's the one that's able to come over on the positive side of it as he was able to hold off a very aggressive attack. Strong move to the inside there for Miles Rowe, trying to get himself into the top 5. Again, for Rowe, every extra point he can get here today is going to make things easier for him in Portland because although he still is the outright contender for the championship, it's not said and done, especially with the pace we've seen out of Kiko Porto. And again, it'll be less than 60 points when we get to Portland and race number 1 of the triple header. So again, trying to see if he can't get it over 60 points here. 66 points is what he would need to have after race number 1 in Portland because there's only 66 points left. He's 66 points up. He does have the most race wins between he and Kiko Porto. Here's a move further back as well. Oh, a little mid-corner wiggle there for Jace Denmark as he tried to get the job done there on Michael D'Orlando. Right there on him, a little brake lock up. Pizzi in there as well. Francesco Pizzi for TJ Speed. They found some extra speed here. Both Lirim Zendelli and Pizzi are strong. Pizzi's going to look to the inside. Watch coming out of the corner. Denmark trying to give him room. That's where he and his teammate Missing got together yesterday. This time give himself a little bit more room, and that's actually going to give a bit of a breather for Michael D'Orlando, because with Denmark getting aggressive, now having to worry more about Pizzi, D'Orlando going to get just a little bit of a break on it. There's Zendelli. There's De Alba. And behind them, Miles Rowe. Gap right now coming across the line. We'll get an update here for Nikita Johnson, Kiko Porto, and Matt Clark. Still saying 1.6 seconds is the gap between first and second. Last time by, both those drivers turning 2:03.28. Porto slower by 1/1000th of a second. Here's the scrap again. Pizzi going at it with Denmark. Denmark's got the inside line coming in. No, it's going to be Pizzi. Let's see how they hold on side by side. Oh, Denmark shoots through. Pizzi wisely checked out of it. That could have been ugly for both. And Pizzi, a driver who was second place in points only a couple of races ago, now finds himself in fifth. I think he'd like to see himself maybe potentially get up to fifth or fourth. There's an opportunity potentially to get up to fourth, because he's only 4 points behind D'Orlando coming in. So really, Francesco Pizzi, who has already made his Indy Next debut with Able Motorsports at Nashville, will be back with the team at Laguna Seca as well. He really wants to finish top five, right? Top five in the championship, top four. That looks good on the resume, and you want to make sure you hold on to that with Joel Granforce not being here this weekend, not electing to run the final 2 races on the season, instead focusing forward to 2024. Pizzi with an opportunity to potentially move up into fourth, and if all goes well in Portland, maybe even battle for third still. Pizzi's not done with a shot at potentially getting into the top 3. So indeed, a wise move for him there to kind of back out of what could have been disaster with he and Jace Denmark scrapping it out through the S's leading over to turn 6. Nikita Johnson, though, this is all about this young driver trying to make an impact on the North American racing scene. Was strong last year in USF Juniors, took him to later in the year to be able to win a race, did not come away with a championship, scored a win in his first event in USF 2000 of 2023, winning at St. Petersburg. He also raced at Portland last year as well. But his first race of 2023 came away with a win in the home race in St. Petersburg from, of course, nearby Gulfport. And indeed has been a challenger throughout the year in USF 2000. But this is a feat. This is a display of his continuing development. Been doing a ton of testing over in Europe throughout the year as well. So no lack of seat time for the young Floridian, but he is leveraging it here right now. The gap coming down a little bit. Kiko Porto trying to close back in that last lap. The lap before, he was a bit quicker. The gap now under a second between Kiko Porto and Nikita Johnson. Matt Clark actually laying down fast lap of the race. So are these D-Force cars starting to come back in? Did Nikita potentially use the tires up a little bit? Is he just cooling the tires for a lap? We'll see what happens. You can be sure the spotters are on the radio with Nikita and Kiko and Mac telling them what's going on. This is your front-running trio coming out of 11 down to 12. Kiko Porto back up on the throttle again. Remember, he's doing whatever he can to get max points to try to close in on that championship. Porto to within a second. There's just a couple laps to go. In fact, they'll see the white flag this next time by 13 laps in. Lap number 14, white flag at start finish this next time by. Porto's going to have to find some big speed if he wants to reel them in here as they come through the double apex 13 and 14. Johnson trying to get his first win here on the debut weekend in USF Pro 2000. We'll cap off the doubleheader here in less than 4 minutes. Miles Rowe still running there in 6th position behind Zendelli, De Alba. That'll put him it's still good points. 6th place, still solid points, would put him at 333 points. Again, close. Not able to lock it down yet here. And in fact, it'll come down to what happens in the first couple of races in Portland. White flag flying this time by. Porto is closer again. It was .986 last time by, now .874. He's only cut out a 10th. Nikita Johnson maybe just being a little easier on entry, rolling a bit more speed in terms of getting off the throttle or off the brake a bit. not quite back onto the throttle quite as early, really a little more gentle through the corners. He didn't lose much, let's be real. His fast time is a 2:03.13. He did a 2:03.36, so he's 2/10 off his fastest lap time. So I don't think Nikita's given up much right now. I think he's pretty confident. He's got the gap he needs. What a victory this would be. And talk about some ripples through this USF Pro Championships program. This kid is going to be a championship contender in 2024. And again, just 15 years of age. And wow, is he putting on a show here, besting one of the drivers. So one of the top drivers we've seen over the last handful of years. Of course, remember Kiko Porto, former USF 2000 champion. Multiple wins here in this USF Pro 2000 category, including the one yesterday. Porto trying to close back up, was faster by about a 10th last lap. But there's the gap right now as they come down to turn number 12. What a run. Connor, this is the kind of race you want to have as a driver, right? You were challenged. You made the move on a veteran driver and potentially pulling away for a historic victory.
Yeah, and a very, very good move from Nikita as well, and just the confidence to stretch that gap out in the mid part of the race. And, you know, Miles has to be really happy about this.
He does, no doubt about that. Yeah, Miles Rowe, of course, worried about Porto, of course, running up front. Not only just winning the race, but leading the most laps as well. I think Nikita's going to get most laps led, so that'll be a bonus point as well that's going to come into play in terms of the championship. Every point will count coming to the end of this one. And as they roll themselves out of 18 over to 19 and 20, we're going to find ourselves with another winner. I don't know what the youngest winner ever has been in USF Pro 2000. This could be it. 15 years of age. We could have the youngest winner ever in USF Pro 2000. Out of the final corner, and the winner of race number 2 at the Circuit of the Americas is Nikita Johnson. VRD Racing winning in Texas, and the 15-year-old may be the youngest winner ever in the USF Pro 2000 category at 15. What a run for him. Nikita Johnson wins by 0.919 seconds. Kiko Porto coming home in second. Matt Clark in third. Liram Zendelli across the line in 4 spots. Salvador de Alba finishes 5th. Point leader Miles Rowe will chalk up another 15 markers, finishing 6th position. Michael D. Orlando in 7th. Jace Denmark 8th. Francesco Pizzi 9th. And Jack William Miller rounding out the top 10. But a cool down lap for this driver here, like no other, having won here in USF Pro 2000. Again, joining me in the booth right now, Connor Roberts. Connor, you've won countless races and through your Spec Racer 4, the 70 races you've run, 70 plus, all the racing you've done. Just, I know people have done this before, but what are you thinking when you're doing the cool down lap, having won a race like this?
I mean, especially in that first big win and a series step up, it's an amazing feeling. And just, you know, going around talking to your team on the radio on the end lap, and they're like congratulating you. It's unreal, like nothing else.
That's it. And the funny thing is, I talked to Jack Jeffers yesterday after he won the USF Juniors race. He joined me in the booth, and I asked him, when on that last lap when you have a big lead, when can you start celebrating? And he literally said, after I get past turn 19, because he won like you had trouble in turn 19, got taken out by a driver who had an issue. He said, I needed to get through 19, make sure I wasn't over the rumbles, and then I was starting to smile again, right? I didn't have a track limit penalty. I was able to come through 20 and get the race win. But, man, again, thank you so much for joining me, Connor. I appreciate it. Great to have you here this weekend. I know you did a lot of testing. You were waiting for that first time to run with us. Best of luck today. 2 more chances today to get in the top 10, because that's where you were running, I think, yesterday when you had the issue.
I was running 9th. Yeah.
Tough.
Yes.
Best of luck today.
Thank you.
Connor Roberts, folks, for DC Autosport, his debut weekend here in USF Juniors, eyeing potentially USF 2000 in 2024. This driver here, following in those same rungs, obviously USF Juniors last year was a race winner there and was battling for a championship. Nikita Johnson, who is right there in the championship fight as well. Probably not an opportunity to win the title in USF 2000 with Simon Sykes in the lead he has, but he has been a factor in that category. But I don't even know if he's even going to be thinking about USF 2000 right now, having won here. What a great job for Nikita Johnson. He'll head to victory lane, and that's where I'm going as well, folks. Stay tuned. After this quick break, we're going to come back for victory lane celebrations. Nikita Johnson winning today here at the Circuit of the Americas.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Victory Lane here at the Circuit of the Americas as we get set to go with the drivers here in this USF Pro 2000 event here, the capping off the doubleheader here, the Discount Tire Circuit of the Americas Grand Prix. Let's start bringing the drivers out here who did such a great job here today. The front three pulling away so decisively, finishing in third place, 2 podiums in his debut on this category. Matt Clark for D-Force Racing coming home in third. Great run for Mac today, P3. Finishing in second spot, a win yesterday, P2 today. He's made this championship very interesting heading into Portland for D-Force Racing, second place, Kiko Porto. We are definitely not done with the championship yet here in this category. We're going to go to Portland on that one. But again, the driver who came here made such an impact here today. We watched him come through USF Juniors. It's been a great year in USF 2000, but in his debut here in the USF Pro 2000 category, same goes for VRD Racing. He comes home with a dominant win. Scoring the victory today, put your hands together for Nikita Johnson. Nikita, congratulations, man. I know yesterday the car was really good. You were in the middle of the fight, but today, from the very get-go, it seemed like you were ready to challenge for the win.
Yeah, I mean, the VRD boys gave me an amazing car. Last night, we watched the video and looked at the data. I just improved on the car and myself, and then today, you know, we just had a rocket ship. And, yeah, my main focus was just getting out in front and controlling the race.
You obviously want to win. You've won in juniors. You've won in USF 2000. Was there more pressure here today? Did you feel it in the car trying to get that first win at this level of the series?
Yes, a bit, because, you know, it's my debut. If I won this, I would be the youngest driver, which I did. And then if I won this, which I did, I would have won all 3 USF Pro Championship cars. And, yeah, that just means a whole lot to me.
Well, congratulations, man. Anybody else you want to thank?
Yeah, I want to thank my dad for coming out here and supporting me. Everybody, Noah Ping for being my sponsor, Dan Mitchell, he just put this car together on Thursday, same as Scotty and Jacob, and everybody else at the VRD tent, my family back home watching, and then all my supporters and sponsors, Walker's K, Allen Exploration, Tiger Precision Products, PSA Check, and, you know, my dad.
Yeah, that's it. Hey, listen, as you said, you've got a trophy, a first place trophy in all 3 categories. Grab that one. It's yours right now. Folks, he has won in all 3 categories, USF Juniors, USF 2000, and now USF Pro 2000. And again, the only winner to do that, all 3 categories, and the youngest winner we've had in this USF Pro 2000 category. 15 years of age. What a run today for Nikita Johnson. Give them the opportunity to kind of enjoy themselves a little bit here. And again, what a run for the VRD Racing crew as well. A victor earlier this year, as I had mentioned in the broadcast, with Nico Christodoulou in Toronto, and a solid victory here to get things rolling for USF Pro 2002. Nikita Johnson was aggressive from the get-go, a fast car out of the gate, and was able to make the move by Kiko Porto. But again, D-Force Racing, a fantastic weekend for them as well, as they come away with 4 podiums all told in this top level of the USF Pro Championships presented by Cooper Tires. Both Matt Clark and Kiko Porto visiting the podium in both races. So great job for Matt Clark, again, a young USF 2000 driver working his way up here. Are we ready to go? I think it's champagne time, guys. Grab a hold of it, grip it, and rip it. Let's celebrate the action from the day here. Nikita Johnson spraying the champagne as he has in USF Juniors. He has in USF 2000. Now a winner as well in USF Pro 2000. Nikita Johnson, Kiko Porto, and Matt Clark. Podium. The USF Juniors. Those of you more racing to come here, Texas. My name's Rob Howden. Bye for now.